prophesying the downfall of America and to bring our people back to their natural nationality, which is Latinos, Negroes, American, the Native American people that can sit the 12 tribes of Israel. Without further ado, I'd like to give all glory and honor to Yahweh,
Hawa, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Rakakodash.
double honor to the elder apostles that teach this truth. Salutations to the brother Christian truth from the four winds of the earth. Also, the substance and pride and meekness, confusion of face of the world and the children. Okay, there's a lot going on right now. Prophecy and nothing but prophecy. And that's what we're about to get into, man. While we are experiencing wholeheartedly prophecy right now. Okay.
Matter of fact, with that being said, can you give me Revelation 19 and 10? Shah? Right. As you know what's happening right now on biblical prophecy, going back to Ezekiel 37, what is it? 37th chapter, 38th chapter. We're talking about the beast. I'm not the beast, I'm sorry, the bear. Okay, which we're gonna come and protect the other nations. Really, what America, not America, what Russia's doing right now, Russia is invading Ukraine now. Baba Kushai, that's your part, that's your part. Matter of fact, we're gonna read Revelation first, then we're gonna read that. Going to Gog and Magog, all right? You have to understand, we look at an ancient map of Gog and Magog, it would pretty much be Russia today, especially over that vast empire, all right, that vast amount of land. So you can give me Revelation on 19 and 10 because what's going on, when you think about the statue, they say at the end, at the bottom, it had feet like a bear. It goes back to Russia because Russia just symbolizes the bear. When you go into the book of Ezekiel, it speaks about that. And that's also called prophecy. That's why everything that's happening right now in the world is already written into the Bible. Go ahead.
It's Revelations 19 and 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou now do it not. I am the fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi Mashiach.
Right.
Worship God. For the testimony of Yahawashi Mashiach is the spirit of prophecy.
Right, the spirit of prophecy. And see, these modern day churches right now, they don't have answers for what's going on throughout the world. Like Elder Apostle Rumla, he was just doing a video on how you had a modern day pastor up there, them that's sweating, having to go into prophecy. Because that's the spirit of Hamashiach. The spirit of Hamashiach is prophecy. Pearl means before, for say means to speak. So when you read in the Bible, these words were spoken millenniums ago, centuries ago. And now they're happening today. There's no greater power than the power that can dictate your birth and your death. That's what God, that's the true power. God, you cannot see. Okay? Hey, just like the spirit, you can't wait a spirit when someone dies. You can't wait a spirit. Right? Esau tried to do that before. So understanding that prophecy goes into once on what it said in Revelation 13 chapter, it said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Well, Esau brought us in and it hasn't happened yet. The Lord said that the land before them looked like Eden, but behind them, it was a burning fire. It's talking about thermonuclear warhead. That hasn't happened yet. It speaks about, well, you're going to have to use your right hand or your forehead to make a payment. That hasn't happened yet on a full scale to where they're making it mandatory. All right? I mean, people can still order pizza. People can still go to McDonald's to get a burger. But there have been incidents where people have walked inside of Walmart, filled a basket full of food, and went out the front door. And then police officers are telling those employees don't chase after them. Right? So these plagues, these prophecies are going to come to pass soon. Famine's going to come pretty soon. Think about that peace convoy. All of those truckers going up there into Canada, now they're trying to go to Washington. They have a quote-unquote peace convoy. All they're doing is disrupting your way of distributing products, man. When they're blocking all of those passages, when they're blocking all of those roads, you can't get your medication, you can't get your toiletries, you can't get the natural resources you need so you can produce products, because they're clogging all the highways with these trucks. Okay, so you forgot what happened on the West Coast, right? When they had all those ships sitting out there in the harbor. There you go.
Ecclesiasticus 10 and 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The point is, an unwise king destroyeth his people. What you just said. What you just said. You said, something with the blockages and the shortages Why? Because an unwise king destroys his people.
But he's wise. He's wise because he's being wicked, but it's going to be to his own destruction. And when you're talking about that with Ukraine, Ukraine is killing. Russia is murdering their own people who are Ukrainian. They just go under a different name. But back in the Soviet Union, Ukraine was a part of Russia. That's why, if you think about it, man, Russia is killing their own people like that, massacring them. I mean, how the hell you think they look at America? I will speak about that later, but I had to correct that. You got more? All right. Yes, you do. Matter of fact, go back to Ezekiel.
Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal.
Right. Russia. And Tubal is Germany, if I'm not mistaken, and Meshech would have to be Turkey. And also I saw an article where they wanted Turkey to not allow Russia to use a certain strait to bring their ships in through, because there's a certain law there that any country that has a harbor or a coastline on that strait, their navy can use that. But see, they didn't. See, they wanted Turkey to not allow Russia to bring their ships through. All right, that's more news out there. That's prophetic as well too. Okay, go ahead, read.
Ezekiel 38:2. Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord, YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, Behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws.
Right, so the Lord said, I would turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Because, a matter of fact, I was filing a claim on a car accident I had. The lady, I don't even know, she made a cynical joke about Russia and about America not going to war with Russia. But think about this, though. What happened during the time when they had the missile crisis in Cuba? The whole world was on alert. Think about this. Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Libya, Sudan, Egypt. America invaded all those countries. But you got Russia over in Ukraine blowing up ships, killing civilians. I mean, it's all over the news. Matter of fact, what were you telling me about what were you telling me about the dude that called?
Oh,
he called his people?
there was a Russian soldier hostage with tape around his eyes so they don't recognize him.
Right.
His forehead was like yay long with blood, and he called his mother. What is it? Ukraine troops had him call his mother and his father.
The Russian troops? Who was it?
It was the Ukraine troops had the Russian troops call his father first and then his mother, and he told him last goodbyes. You know?
Right. So in other words, what happened was some Ukrainian troops got caught by Russian troops. The Russian troops made those Ukrainian troops call their parents before they died. That's what happened. That's what's going on right now in the news. Okay? And then you also got this individual called the Ghost of Kiev that's taking out Russian helicopters in a dogfight, taking out their took out one of their Sus, one of their top state-of-the-art fighter jets, man. It's a full-out war going on over there in Ukraine. But do you understand why that's happening? The leader of Ukraine, he said in a peace summit that they were thinking about bringing nuclear weapons to Ukraine. See, America is not publicizing that all over CNN, all over Fox, because when Russia heard that, Russia said, "Oh hell no, we're going to invade you and take you over." That's the whole reason why Russia is invading Ukraine right now, because they said they was thinking about putting nuclear weapons in the land of Ukraine. But think about this: who's also aiding Ukraine? Canada. See, America's playing proxy wars. Who's the ally of Canada? The United States. They're giving them hundreds of millions of dollars of military weaponry into Ukraine. Matter of fact, I saw a video where there was a certain tanker that was destroyed by Russian troops. That it said in captions, this is one of the tanks that Canada had gave to Ukraine earlier this year. Hell, we're only 2 months into the year. But recently, Canada said that it was going to aid Ukraine. Remember, Canada is allies with the United States. That's why Russia invaded Ukraine. Wait a minute. You said you're going to bring nuclear weapons to Ukraine, but you're allies with Canada and USA? That's why they invaded Ukraine. They're not stupid.
They shall hate the whore. They shall hate the whore.
They shall hate the whore. Right. That goes back to with Germany perpetuate the senseless rhetoric and propaganda. I kept saying Russia's gonna invade Ukraine. Russia's gonna invade Ukraine. Even the leader of Ukraine even told Biden, would you stop with that senseless rhetoric? You want to start a war. But he already knew it was too late because he said it was a possibility they can bring those nukes there. They're not stupid. They invaded them and took the land over. They're trying to take it over. Yeah. Go ahead. Matter of fact, no, okay, can you give me second Ezra 16?
Second Ezra 16 and 37. Behold, the plagues draweth nigh, and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son.
And when you go into the etymology of the word plague, the word plague is also a wound. Like you can get a flesh wound, or you can get a deadly wound. Well, remember, Joe Biden just said that Joe Biden was talking about hyperinflation. Inflation is one thing, right? But hyperinflation, when you go inside Publix, go and buy your favorite loaf of bread for $4, 2 days later, that same loaf of bread is $20. So when your president is talking about hyperinflation, that's something not to be taken lightly. Do you think that relations are good with China, Russia, and the United States right now? No, it's not. All right, there's been news where United States has contacted India about what's going on in Russia, but they have not contacted China. Now you got to think about the BRICS. You have the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. Now you have the BRICS, which is also an IMF, but it consists of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. That's the acronym for BRICS, where they use their own currency outside the EU and NATO. So China, India, they're kind of like, listen here, we're not really condoning what Putin's doing, but we know why Putin's doing it. That's why China ain't said nothing. Beijing ain't said nothing. All right, they're talking to India, that's Elon, but they ain't really saying too much either, man. But see, Biden talk all that shit about invading all these countries. Man, Russia's over there killing people all over the news. What Biden said? What Biden said? We're gonna put sanctions on them, but we're not gonna send any soldiers. Why you not gonna invade Russia? Why you not gonna send soldiers to Ukraine? Because you know goddamn well Putin said you've been poking the bear for god too fucking long. So all you can do is throw sanctions on them. That show how much power you have, man. Right. You ain't got no power like that.
Innocent pedestrians that's living in buildings and stuff. Right. They shoot missiles at buildings where people living, man. We don't know how to interfere with that, man.
All right, but yeah, but go ahead.
Second Ezra 16 and 37. Behold, the plagues draweth nigh, and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son. With 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb. Which pains? When the child cometh forth.
Right.
They slack not a moment.
So these prophecies are not going to slack not a moment. Matter of fact, Matthew 24. That'll go right into it. Because these plagues are what's going to wound the kingdom. We're talking about economically. We're talking about via the industrial. I mean, look at the car market. Look at the housing market. It's all been famished. It's all been failed. You have people saying, "Oh, I'm making 6 figures." Yeah, but if we live in New York or if we live in California, that's like 60,000, 50,000 due to the cost of living. And on top of that, don't be $100,000 in student loan debt. So it's like, what life are you really living, man? Right? You have consumer debt as well. Go ahead up. So that's really the wound that's happening. America's never going to be able to recover from all of these wars. What they've done, they've sucked dry the citizens, and all of these elites and oligarchs are just gathering and racking up all the money. They want you to continue to go out to your favorite pub. They want you to continue to go out and have those vacations. They want you to continue for that dream house. Because it's only a dream. What you going to work 30 years to pay for a house that you may give to a son that could end up being a loser, and then your house gets sold? It says that in the Bible as well too. Work your whole life to have ungrateful children just to get just for you to lose everything, man.
By the time you retire, you're too old.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, what can you do? I mean, how can you really enjoy life now? You know, you got back problems, you got knee problems, right? This is a hellhole.
Second Ezra 16 and 39.
Oh, hold on, no, do you rather have Matthew? Or what verse? What you have? 24 and 6, right?
This is Matthew 24 and 6. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
It said, see that you be not troubled. Because now these people really want to wake up and understand what's going on, because Russia has invaded, and it's all over the news about them killing them Ukrainians, and United States ain't did nothing. Nathan, man.
We don't want no record with Russia.
So who got the power?
Right, who has the power? You got more?
I'm gonna go on. Yeah, I'm going on. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these things are not the beginning of. All these things are the beginning of the sorrows. Only the beginning, man. It's only a peek about what's coming. Okay?
Shalom, Maki. How about Shema Shai? About Shema Kakadas, Brakata?
Beginning of our sorrows. Like I said at the beginning of the year, 2022 is going to be a very epic year. Okay, it's taking off already. The prophecy already. It's been happening. We're just going deeper into prophecy.
Hey, I mean, matter of fact, you remember the first month of the year, Kim Jong-un, he tested like 5 missiles.
Tested missiles.
I'm like, damn, man, that's the most he ever tested missiles, like that many missiles in 1 month. So
yeah,
2022 already been taking off like 4th of July, man.
Come on, testing submarine missiles, ship missiles, land missiles, missile,
missile food over here.
Just on the next question, where's the safest place to be to World War III? Missiles.
This is real quick, Jeremiah 50 and 23. Hey, matter of fact, let's just flow in the spirit. Jeremiah 50 and 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Now the desolation hasn't come yet, but the first portion of that verse where it says, how has the whole hammer of the earth been cut asunder? And think about that word. Think about the word hammer. The hammer could also be a gavel. You know when you go to court, right? You know you go to court and the judge got that wooden hamlet, wooden mallet, and it says order in the court, order in the court. That's a small hammer. And think about that. They use that to bring forth judgment. So America trying to be the judge of the whole nation, the whole world. Russia just said, you don't have any power. You invaded all those little punk ass countries with no nuclear capability. We went and invaded Ukraine. You go put sanctions on us. You ain't got no power, dude. You flexing. Okay, you drop bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. You drop bombs on us, we're gonna drop bombs right back on you.
That's why Russia said, I'm prepared. I'm fully prepared for any.
He said he's fully prepared, right? Okay. And we say call Logan like YAHAWAH by Shimi, I was shy by Shimi Kakadash. All right. Go ahead again.
I got Matthew 12 and 25 because Babylon and Gog and Magog are completely.
China has viewed cooperation with North Korea, Moab is united. That's right, huh? That's right.
And it says, I guess who are they under? Russia. Or they're friends with who? Russia.
They're allies, yeah.
It says Matthew 12 and 25, and YAHAWASHI knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Hey, so we talking about that house of Edom right now. So you got Canada, United States, right? You also got France, you got Germany, you got Russia, and you got Ukraine. All of these are Edomite nations. And they all arguing amongst one another. You got the Canadians giving the Ukrainians aid. United States putting sanctions on Russia, but France and Germany trying to befriend Russia, but they're supposed to be a part of the EU, which is also ran by United States. It's bickering amongst their brotherhood. Right? Go ahead up.
That was it on Matthew 12 and 25.
Read it again.
Matthew 12 and 25, and YAHAWASHI knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
Right.
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Now, what's going to bring this place, the lake of fire, Babylon, America, to desolation? Nukes. World War III, fire.
Go ahead.
Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. We're standing in the lake of fire right now.
Okay, wait, we gotta be serious.
We're standing in a place right now where in a future event it's going to be called the lake of fire. You know? Because of World War III nuclear missiles. And it says, Isaiah 54:16, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, that bringeth forth the instrument of his word. And I have created the waster to destroy.
Right, so that was Isaiah 54:16. Let me see it. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. And this is secular history. All right, this is Robert Oppenheimer. July 16, 1945 goes with this precept. As he witnessed the first detonation of a nuclear weapon on July 16, 1945, a piece of Hindu scripture ran through the mind of Robert Oppenheimer. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. It is perhaps the most well-known line from the Bhagavad Gita, but also the most misunderstood. Why did he say that? Because there's also other captions to where when on the nuclear, I think it was an atomic bomb if I'm not mistaken, but when the explosion went off, you had certain scientists that cheered on. You had certain people that actually cried when they saw the first detonation. So that's why Robert Oppenheimer said, I have become the destroyer of worlds, the waster. And that's what the Lord just said. There's an instrument created, a waster to destroy. Because what can destroy an entire land in an hour? We talking about thermonuclear warheads, man. Straight up. Go ahead, you have something up?
Yeah, I got something.
Go ahead, up.
This is Jeremiah 51:49. As Babylon has caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain.
Where are you?
Jeremiah 51:49.
Okay.
Read it over.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Jeremiah 51:49. As Babylon has caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain of the earth.
Right.
Okay. Basically, reaping what they sow, man. Okay. We were slain by the enemies for the longest, man. And like the brother was saying earlier when we was at the grocery store, we're gonna be on those chariots looking down at the slain of Babylon, man. Okay. All this.
There, Salakia. When we're on the chariots looking down, we're not gonna be in the lake of fire. What the brother was saying is that we are in the place that's known as the lake of fire. When the lake of fire happens, we're not going to be in it. We're going to be on those chariots looking down at the lake of fire. This is the place that's going to be called the lake of fire because it's going to look like a humongous lake of fire when we're on those chariots.
To back up the brother when he said that there was, Edomites that rejoiced when they saw the first, what was it called? The first nuclear,
the first nuclear detonation.
This is Genesis 4:22. And Zelah, she also bore Tubal Cain, an instructor of every artificial in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. So he rejoiced too. Because he's here again. Everything is very important.
Okay, so I'm saying, you brought that out so you can say what now?
Because he was Tubal Cain, an instructor of every artificial in brass and iron.
So who was Tubal Cain today? Well, you brought it out. Would they be the Germans?
I know he's the Edomite.
All right. Just hold back real quick. Can you please get me 2nd Esdras 9:1? Can you please get me Isaiah 13:4?
This is 2nd Esdras 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure the time diligently itself, when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world he made.
Right, where the Most High will begin to visit the world that he made. Right, and that's all through prophecy and through the scriptures. Think about this. The reason, the way the Lord is visiting the world, because the words that we're speaking are his words and they're coming to pass. See, that's why we stand out here so stiffly for this word. Because of the patience that you must have a certain type of patience a certain type of faith to constantly endure and come out and preach the word and get a page shut down and get another strike, have to make another page, and you're saying that the same land you're standing on is going to get turned into the lake of fire. So if you're constantly preaching that word, you're constantly preaching that message, well, hell, how the hell are you going to escape? By faith. By
Suffering
faith.
patiently. Suffering patiently.
Right, by suffering patiently.
That's why the scripture said, be as pilgrims, because the Lord's going to intervene when we're in the most danger. That's the power of the Lord. Look what happened in ancient Egypt. We were in the most danger, and what happened? He brought frogs, the water turned red. You know, their animals died, not ours.
Famine.
Famine. Yep, famine.
And at the same time, famine is increasing for all this. All everything's happening at the same time. Instead of seeing these articles about famine, the food shortage, you know, these Edomites, they are worried, man.
It motivates us to continue to serve YAHAWASHI, because it said, my servants shall eat, and they shall hunger.
It shall be full.
Yep.
How? Divine intervention, miracles. Another level of faith, another level of what's going to happen in the physical realm.
Divine intervention. That's what's going to happen. Go back to the second. Yeah, just keep reading.
Okay, I'm gonna go to verse 3, 2 Edges 9 and 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that is the Most High spake of these things from the days that before thee, even from the beginning.
Right. So once again, the Lord said he was going to speak of those things way before us, ever since the beginning. The beginning. So at the end of the day, you cannot say that the Lord was unrighteous, because he said he sent his servants out be time. Right? And you have to understand that this land has been defiled by the blood of the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. And then each year they remind you of how you had to fight just to be a damn human being. They call it Black History Month, because Judas the head tribe, but all 12 tribes were pressed together, like it says in Jeremiah 50 and 33. The brother Yeremiah, he draw Malachi 1 and 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Right. Because the last samurai was who? Tom Cruise. Whenever you watch the movie The Mummy, who they got? They got an Edomite looking dude playing, right? They got the movie 300. We know that the Lacedaemonians from the stock of Abraham, right? Who they got him as Lacedaemonians in 300? So-called white man, right? You get what I'm saying?
Whatever movie with Tom Cruise again?
The Last Samurai. The Last Samurai, right? Yeah. And on top of that, when you go into Roman Catholicism today, the word Catholicism literally means universal. So they take all beliefs in the world and then mold it to one religion. That's why they don't give a damn what you believe in, as long as you pay tributary to them.
Yeah. It says Jeremiah 50 and 32. It says Jeremiah 50 and 33. And thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
Calm down. Calm down. All right, so that happened, right? The Lord said they refused to let us go. What it says in Leviticus, it says that if a man still looking man, he be found in his hand what? So he shall surely be put to death. So they refused to let us go. That's what all this is happening. It's not like they had fair trade and then they got this land off of sitting down having deals. No, it was taken. It was prophecy. That's the whole purpose of the Bible. Speak about prophecy. He holds it as every nation but its own. Exactly. That's why he put the title the red man on the Native Americans. All right. So-called, the Gadites and the Reubenites. Okay. They wanted to stay away from that name. That's why the elder Pastor Hart said he had to. They took one of his videos down because he said all he said was E. He didn't even say Esau Edom. They still took it down. Right? They don't want no mention of that. Same thing with it. The truth doesn't have to be backed by law. I mean, they made a law saying if you say that these people are not the real people of God, then you could get canceled. They call it hate speech, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot. Go ahead up. Go ahead. See?
Continue.
Yeah.
This is 2 Esdras chapter 9 and 5 to continue. For like as that is made in the world, had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest.
Read one more time.
The second Edges 9 and 5. For like as in that for Salaki,
I see it.
for like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest.
Right. Then shall beautiful, beautiful. For like as all that is in the world had the beginning, and end, and the end is manifest, man. Like every kingdom on earth had a beginning, all right? And then every other kingdom after those kingdoms, they ruled in their stead. All right, from the Egyptians, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Medes, the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans. All right, up until you had the Moors, which was Southern Kingdom ruling. Then you had Northern Kingdom ruling there with the Incas, the Aztecs, and the Mayans. Right? Then you had Gad also ruling as well. Taino Indians, all of that. And then came the Renaissance, when it was time for that dragon that was bound for 1,000 years to be loosed. Okay. So all of the signs, all of the times have been met up. We're living up to that time right now in these last days. Matter of fact, can you give me Daniel 12 and 7? I think it's Daniel 12 and 7.
Revelation 22, 20 and 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more. And that's what he did, deceive the nations.
But hold on, but hold on. How did that dragon start to deceive the nations?
When he was loose after the Dark Ages.
Let me speak. The dragon started deceiving the nations during the time of the Greco-Roman Empire. Okay? Because when you go back during the time the Israelites was under captivity under the Medo-Persians or under the Elamites during the Shushan Palace, we always knew who we were. It was when the Greco-Romans, Alexander the Greek, he Hellenized the known world. All right, pretty much. Antiochus Epiphanes, it really started with their wicked root that made us forget our laws and our heritages. All right, and it also did the same thing with every other nation as well during that time in the known world. Then here comes the time after the Dark Ages, which is the Renaissance, when they came about to deceive the whole world and telling people who they were. Johann F. Blumenbach, all right, I think was a anthropologist, if I'm not mistaken, anthropologist. He had 5 genres of mankind. I think he had the Oriental, I think he had Native American, he had a Negro, he had the Caucasian, he had some other classification. That's why when you fill out a job application, they always ask you what your ethnicity. Okay? Race and ethnicity are 2 different things. Same thing with Hispanic and Latino, 2 different things, man. Right? So that goes back to coming out and to deceive the nations. Okay? Go ahead. You got more on that?
And this is where we left off, Revelation 20 and 3, that he should deceive the nations no more, till 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season.
You notice how I said deceive them no more, then he got sealed off. So that was prior to the 1,000-year period. You said after, that's how to correct it. Go ahead on.
Till that 1,000 years be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. He's still loose now.
Yeah, but it's a little season because this is like the shortest lived kingdom. Because they really didn't start thriving till like the late 1800s, because that was really when they started the what's the word I'm looking for? The industrial period. Because what they did, what it was, they had Moabites that came here. See, this is what happened in history. The British Columbia, they colonized China during that time, the early 1900s. So some Chinamen came over to America and they wound up on the West Coast. So a lot of those railroads in the West Coast was actually in the early 1900s and late 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. They were created, they were manufactured by the Chinese, by Moab. So whenever you hear Edom or somebody try and say, oh no, the Mongols went up into the North Pole and came down and they were the first ones here in America. No, they wasn't. They got here around like the late 1800s, the early 1900s, man. Okay, go ahead up.
No. Daniel 12 and what? 8? Yeah. This is Daniel 12 and 8. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things?
Right. Oh my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? So once again, back then they didn't understand what was going on. But can you please give me Bible shot? Can you give me 2 Peter 3 and 1? But right now in these last days, we understand what's going on. All right. That's why we still out here preaching the word. It says, "He that endureth unto the end shall be saved." No matter how many pages they take down, how many strikes we get, right? No matter how many times people try and ridicule us. Remember, remember the God of this world has blinded them. They're blinded, man. Blessed be your eyes, because we can see it says that in Matthew the 13th chapter. Right? Go ahead up.
Verse 9, 12 and 9. Daniel 12 and 9. And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the word of closed up and sealed to the end of time.
So the word is closed up and sealed until the end of time.
And
all right?
End.
Right. And remember what YAHAWASHI said. YAHAWASHI said, I will be with you to the end of the what? Right, to the end of the world. So this is Revelation chapter 5, verse, we saw that 1. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. And no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. That's why when you have, can you read that one more time? Daniel 12 and 9.
It's Daniel 12 and 9, and he reads, and he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the word are closed up.
It's closed
and
up.
Sealed to till the time of the end.
And we are in the end, because Yahushua said, I will be with you to what? The end of the world. And that word world go back to eon, to the end of time. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, and Esau is the end thereof. So Esau's kingdom has to go down before Yahweh by Shemashah can usher in their kingdom. So these plagues are drawing nigh, because our salvation is nearer than we could ever believe. Okay?
2 Peter 3 and 1. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance.
Right, because remember what Daniel said. Daniel said, I can't understand it. The Lord said, yo, close that book up. Now here it is, by the washing of the water of the word, by stirring up our pure minds, man. All right? The Lord is making us remember it by eating the flesh, by drinking the blood, that bread, man. You know what I'm saying? That unleavened bread, that manna from heaven. Go ahead up.
2 Peter 3 and 2, that ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets.
See, that's how you know.
Tahar means holy.
That means pure. Yeah,
right, pure.
Right.
Pure.
Yeah, read it one more time up.
2 Peter 3 and 2.
Yeah, read it then first.
2 Peter 3 and 1. This second epistle, beloved, I know right unto you, in which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets.
Right, that you may be mindful of the words that were spoken before by the holy prophets. That's why the Bible says, blessed is he that readeth. Because if your ass been going to church for damn near 2 or 3 decades, and they have been telling you about Revelation 13 and 6, which is the mark of the beast, right? And they have been telling you about thermonuclear warhead, which the scripture says in Isaiah 9 and 9 and 5 and 9 and 6. It says, every battle is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this one shall be with fuel of fire, right? If they not telling you that he that leaveth to captivity shall go into captivity, And they're not telling you that the Lord's people went into captivity on cargo slave ships. They're not telling you that Esau eating the so-called white man, woman, and child. Then guess what? You're not blessed because they're not reading from that book. And if they are, they're not eating the whole roll. And they're not coming out with the first precept they be opened up with. Revelation 19 and 10. They're not coming out in the spirit of prophecy. They're not. All that prosperity doctrine is out the window now. So that's why Elder Apostle Rumlaw did that video. He said, now they got to switch up their whole act. Christianity, you can't keep talking about all this love and all this prosperity and come together. Look at all this evil. Look at all this destruction. Look at all this famine. Look at all this death. Look at all this pestilence, man. Stop reading Psalms all day. Stop reading Proverbs all day. There's a lot of beautiful prophecies in there. But you got to speak on the prophecies of the things that's happening right now. That's why I said be mindful of the words of the prophets. Because the prophets spoke about what? Prophecy. Okay? Beautiful, brother. Remember, boy, he dropped Malachi 3 and 16. Then they that fear Yahawah spake often one to another. And Yahawah hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that fear Yahawah and had thought upon his name. Right. So the book that we are mindful of, that book is the same book that the prophets will understand when it came about in the last days. That's why it says the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophets, man. Right? Because the spirit of a scoffer is gonna be subject to a scoffer. Okay? You have to have a hero and a villain. And we're trying to, and you know what? We kind of like Hancock. You know, I mean, sometimes we be wrecking shit, but we still saving lives. You know, people hate us for that. That's what it is, because we really wrecking your life and your mind. We mind you with the prophecy. Because you keep telling yourself, you keep lying to yourself, but what you see outside your house, what you see on the news, you can't refute. You can't. You know? You give me Sirach 39 and 1 by the shop. Yeah. This is how you know who the Lord's servants are. Because our meat was to do the will of the Lord. And YAHAWASHI said the same thing. So if YAHAWASHI's spirit is the spirit of prophecy, your spirit should always be focused and honed in on prophecy. 39.
This is Sirach 39 and 1.
Hebrews 4.
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High.
So like, remember it said, be mindful of the words of the prophet. So he that giveth his mind over to what?
The law of the Most High.
The law of the Most High. So you know the church is not giving their mind over to the law of the Most High. Can they quit to say the law is done away with? But like I said, I would love to go to a Christian man that's married and say, well, sir, you know the law is done away with, right? They allow me to sleep with your wife. Hey man, look at me like you want to kill me, but y'all say the law is done away with. Yeah, right. Go ahead up.
And he is occupied in the meditation thereof.
He's occupied in meditation thereof, which goes back to Psalms. The first song when King David said, blessed is he that meditate on the word, on the law of the Lord day and night. The law. Go ahead up.
Will seek out wisdom of all the ancient, and he occupy in prophecy.
He will seek out the wisdom of all the ancients and will be occupied in prophecy. What happened when Jonah was on that ship, right? And those waves was tossing and turning the ship. They asked him, what is your occupation? He said, I am one that fear YAHAWASHI. In other words, he was a prophet. Because he had to go to Nineveh, right? So what's our occupation? Our occupations are ones who fear YAHAWASHI. Now I speak as a man, but understand what I'm saying is in the lie. We're all prophets. What I mean by that? We all can see the prophecies. That's what the word, you think about the word prophetess, it pretty much means the wife of a prophet. And she saw the signs. So you can say sisters are prophetess. I'm only speaking as a man, but they're not apostles and they're not teachers. They're supposed to be keepers at home, learning from their husbands. And if not, learning from the elders. Okay? It's a difference. So we give our mind over to prophecy. Because at the end of the day, you can't refute it. Matter of fact, can you give me what is it? Acts 5 and 37. Acts 5 and 37. Right. You got something?
I'm following Acts 5 and
Do
37.
you have Hebrews 4 and 12? Did you ask for something earlier?
Yeah, but other scriptures came about like
Yeah,
first
but you should have just got that one. Huh? You you can't grab every scripture, bro. Just grab one. Stay with it. I keep seeing you do this every time you talk.
No, that regarding to bring it out.
Can you give me Hebrews 4 and 12 about Bashar? Because I heard you ask for it and I gave it to you. Go ahead, huh?
This is Acts 5 and 37. After this man rose up, Judas of Galilee, in the days of the
Yeah. That's it. Keep going. You are
this is Acts 5 and 37.
Yep.
After this man rose up, Judas of Galilee, in the days of the taxing and draw away much people after him,
right.
he also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were despised.
Keep going on.
And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and I let them alone.
Right.
For if this counsel of this work be of men, it will come now.
Acts
Come
5
to
and
naught.
Acts 5 and 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For this counsel, I'm trying to read the tablet off. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it. Least happily ye be found even to fight against God. That's why I said, blessed is he that readeth, because you're going to go by the words of YAHAWASHI. That's the whole purpose. We're mindful of the law. We're mindful of his words so that we can see the signs that's coming. Remember, not even the angels of YAHAWASHI know when the Lord's going to give them the green light. When the Lord will give them that John legend. You know? So this is the Lord's work. It's gonna come to pass. It's not gonna come to naught. That's why we stand so boldly in his faith, because we know it's draweth nigh. That's why he said that's why the Lord want his watchmen on the watchtower to watch and see for the evil to come. I mean, you gotta think about it, man. Everybody that's supposed to believe, somebody has to fall victim. Somebody has to fall victim to truth when we live in a society full of falsehoods. Somebody has to fall victim.
The Lord deal with a balance.
Let it not be us, right?
False balance and abomination.
That's right, brother. That's right.
Hebrews 4 and 12. For the word of Yahawah, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWAH is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit.
Right. So this word cuts you. This word is deep. This word is a weapon. That's why over in China, what they trying to do? They're trying to ban Christianity, right? They're trying to ban the Bible or something, ain't it? Over there in China. Over here in America, you can't say certain words out of the Bible, you know? Right? Because this word is so powerful, they have to have it in different versions, right? But you still got the blue letter Bible. All right? I mean, at the end of the day, Yahawashi said it. Yahawashi said, thy kingdom come as it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. The Lord's kingdom ain't here right now. Where's King David? Remember what it said? It said the Lord was going to put his people onto the land. Not a baffle declaration. No, that's a documentation made by man. God said he's going to put his own people in the land. But before the Lord did that, the Lord was going to send out his messengers, which is what we're doing right now. Are you got something?
It says, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of thoughts and intents of the heart.
Right. So this word is going to stand firm. It reminds me of Romans, the 9th chapter, where it says, "Who can resist his will?" Matter of fact, wasn't about 3 weeks ago it was about 3 weeks ago before Russia even invaded. Remember that Sheetamite woman came up? She was drunk. And she was talking about I don't want to go to war with Russia. Guess what happened? Russia just invaded Ukraine. And guess what Biden did? Nothing. So, hey, because we said we wanted that. That was 3 weeks ago. We said Russia's going to go to war. But we didn't know that they was going to invade Ukraine. That's what we didn't know. You know, but now we know why they invaded them. I mean, you're not going to put nukes here and you allies with the United States. You're crazy. We're going to destroy all of y'all. They say they're killing women and children. Man, they ruthless. The Russians, man, Soviet was serious, man. The KGBs and all of that, those agents. They didn't play the Russian spies, the espionage. How you someone the whole waterboarding you, man, shocking you and everything.
Put on Ezekiel 37.
Yeah, go ahead.
And if you want to bring
No,
out
actually, he already brought that up.
This is Isaiah 14 and 10, and it reads, all they that speak and say unto thee, art thou also become as weak of us? Let me read that again. I got excited. Isaiah 14 and 10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we?
Right, because we know what happened. Hello. So, all right. So we know what happened during Nagasaki and Hiroshima. They put fear in the entire world. During the 50s and the 60s, even into the 70s, really the 60s and 70s, they were doing a lot of coups down in South America. They were really doing a lot of coups down in South America, man, that you really don't know about. But I learned that from Lee Kemp and Graham Elwood on Government Secret. They did a lot of coups down there trying to overthrow that place. Why you think it's in such a poor state? Because they constantly have somebody down there. See, that's why they didn't like Russia putting Brazil in BRICS. Also, that's why they didn't like Iran trying to get oil. Iran trying to get oil to Venezuela. They didn't like that because America already got their foot down there. But the other countries, man, they started to expand. You know? Yes, sir.
Isaiah 14 to finish off, 14 and 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?
Right. Like I said, the whole hammer of the earth, man, it has, I mean, you pretty much have lost your power. Right? And see, can you give me second Ezra 6 and 7? This is pretty much us transitioning into our kingdom. That's what happens, man. Every kingdom don't rule forever. Why? Because who ruleth in the kingdom of men? YAHAWAH. YAHAWAH ruleth in the kingdom of men. Daniel's the 4th chapter. It says that. 17th verse. Go ahead up.
the second Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of that following? Verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob and Esau were born of him. Jacob held fist first his heel of Esau.
Right. So it says, what shall be the parting asunder of the time? And it says when Esau was born first and Jacob held on his heel. That was symbolic. Okay? That was symbolic to us casting down the imaginations, pulling down strongholds. Because the weapons of our warfare is not carnal. All right? See, we don't walk by sight, we walk by faith. Because we can see the evil that's coming. But we're going to only be saved by our faith, not by anything that's carnal. Right? That's the difference. Read that again. Second, 8th verse, then read the 9th verse.
This is second Ezra 6 and 8. Then he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Right.
Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. That's why everybody don't want to go to World War III, because they know that if they drop those nukes, it's inevitable. Whenever you launch a missile or a torpedo or an RPG, it's like a bullet that gets shot from a gun. It's going to take its trajectory. It's going to follow on its path. Only time it's going to stop is if it hits something. Because even if you shoot a bullet in the sky, it has to come back down because of gravity. So, with that being said, when they let the nukes off, you can't turn them back. And that's World War III. That's the end of Esau's world. Because their kingdom is already divided. Once again, United States, Canada, Russia, Germany, Ukraine, and France. All of those are Edomite nations. They're not going to stand for long. Right? All we have to do is stand firm in what we believe in, what we do. Okay?
Read yours real quick and I'm going to read it. Okay. Ecclesiasticus 10:4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, Yahawah, YAHAWASHI. And in due time, he who set over one, he is Yahawah, he's going to set YAHAWASHI, set over it one that is profitable.
Right, one that is profitable, man.
That's why this side is dying down. That's why it's deteriorating, inflation, prices going up. There's a gallon of water that costs 99 cents. They knew this for a long time. Now it's 115, and they're frustrated.
Yeah, you're right. I remember that. I remember I would go inside Walmart, but you can get a dozen and a half eggs, bro, for like 94 cents. This is probably like last year, bro. That shit's like damn near $2, bro. I'm telling you, because I buy a lot of eggs, so I know, man. Hey, listen, whenever your president says hyperinflation, he didn't just say inflation. He said hyperinflation. You can't refute that. You can't refute that.
California,
That's
$6
a spirit.
a gallon.
That's a spirit.
California, $6 a gallon.
Yep. Go ahead up.
The 2 Peter 3:8.
Right.
But beloved, be not ignorant of these one thing,
Right.
that one day it will with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
Right.
Okay. Verse 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
The Lord is not slack concerning his promise. The promise goes to who? Israel. Go ahead up.
As some men are count slackness,
Right.
but in their long suffering to us war, not willing to that any should perish.
So they're taking the Lord's kindness as a weakness when we tell him the Lord's coming back, but he really trying to seal his elect. Remember what he said. Matter of fact, can you give me Revelation 7:1? Right, because that precept right there goes into Revelation. Goes into Revelation 7:1, because it says that they count slackness, but the Lord is long suffering towards usward that we should repent. That's why it says in Revelation 7:1. Go ahead.
Revelation 7:1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth. And what's that wind? That destroying wind.
Right.
Jeremiah.
Right.
Nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power.
Right.
And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. That's what this is, and they do hurt. Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI in the foreheads.
That's why it says he's long suffering towards usward. Because the angels on deck, they waiting. They just don't know when the Lord gonna tell them to go out and do their business. And remember, they said those spirits, man, it pleases them to do the Lord's bidding. So the Lord said, slay and slaughter, that's gonna be it. Right? So you can go back to second Peter 3, 9. No, is it 9? No, 10.
It's 2 Peter 3:10.
Right.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night.
You should just be a little bit hard. Yeah.
The day of the Lord will come as a, this is 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, and the which the heavens shall pass away with great noise.
Right. It said the day of the Lord shall come like a thief in the night, as when the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. I mean, all you gotta do is go on to YouTube and look up the top 10 atomic or nuclear detonations. And what you will see all the clouds dissipate. Because that's what I mean by that's what you gotta think about it. This is what Peter saw. This is what Peter saw. So he saw that go off, and he saw the clouds just disappear. Right? Because he didn't understand what that was thousands of years ago, right? Go ahead up.
And the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
It said, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Look at your periodic table. And your body consists of all the elements of the periodic table as well. It said all the elements shall melt with fervent heat. That's why they don't want to go to war with Russia, man. Because Russia gonna let them nukes off, man. It's prophecy. All right, it's going down. Just calm down. That's why Russia is acting the way it's acting right now. Because it's biblical prophecy, man. Okay? It said the elements shall melt. We're talking about gold, silver, steel, tungsten. I think tungsten is the hardest alloy, the hardest metal out in this galaxy. Well, I can say this galaxy on this earth right now. All that's gonna melt, man. The calcium in your bones, all the H2O is gonna evaporate out of your body. All of that. Keep going out.
And the earth, the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burned.
All's gonna be burned up. Go ahead.
Seeing that this is 2 Peter 3:11 now.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Isaiah 34:4, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
Right. This is beautiful. I was thinking about that. Hold on. This is what it's talking about right here. Because the brother Yahawah Gabar put up a beautiful precept. That hey, I'm gonna put that precept back up, brother. I just want to show this poster really quick. Go ahead,
Isaiah 34:4, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
Right. And that scroll is talking about a mushroom cloud. All right? That scroll is talking about a mushroom cloud. But that's exactly what the prophet Isaiah saw. He saw the heavens rolled up like a scroll, man. See, and once again, Elder Apostle Gabar, so you got to be a visionary. You have to envision the things that you are reading about. He said he saw the heavens like a scroll. What do you mean? Like somebody was rolling a literal scroll? No, it's prophetic. All right. Hold that real quick. Yahawah Gabar dropped 2 Ezra 16:13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. Now the bow is the silos, all right, that hold the nuclear weapons. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. Once again, like I said, when you let off a missile or torpedo or RPG or ICBM, you can't reverse it. You can't. Once they let a nuke off, that's it. You can't stop it, right? When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, who can shoot an arrow from Australia, or should I say from Russia to the United States? No, that's prophetic. All right, brother. That's prophetic, man. Once again, they didn't have missiles 2,000 years ago. So the prophets was like, listen here. We saw arrows shot from one end of the earth. Let me get to it. Yahawah Gabar, beautiful poster. Gun. Watermelon. Brother, the YAHAWAH got it. 2 Ezra 16:16, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returneth not backward. Let me get that again. Right? You see it right here. Right, so like, let me get up here. Let me get up here. Right here. Bam, 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 bam. Bam. Pakistan, Israel, India, North Korea, France, Britain, all them. Yeah. All that's prophetic, man. It's coming to pass. Yo, they don't woke up the bear. The bear is hibernating. They don't woke up the bear, man. People letting you know, man. We're going back to them old Soviet Union days, man. All right. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returneth not backward. Even so, the plague that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. Because what he saw the trajectory of the projectile. Because whenever you let off an intercontinental ballistic missile, it has to go into orbit so that it can connect with the satellite to get the GPS, the longitude, latitude of its target. Because the warhead is the most important piece of the ICBM. Because all the other parts get detached and they start orbiting the Earth. That's why they have metric tons of debris orbiting the Earth from all of those satellites that shoot out of them.
Revelations 9:19, for their power is in their mouth.
Woo, the warheads.
And in their tails. Because when they fly in the sky, you're going to see a smoke. It looks like a tail.
Right. Yep.
For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads. They do hurt.
Right. Because you saw what happened when they dropped the bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. They literally had shadows of people that was imprinted onto buildings and on the cement. And that wasn't even nuclear, you know? So it's going to be more atrocious this time.
Wait up. It's Second Peter's 3 and what? 10.
Read it.
11.
Nope, 10.
I read 10.
You did?
Yeah, I read it. Read it. So it's a thief in the
Yep.
right? So 11.
It's lock it. Yep.
This is Second Peter's 3 and 10, 11. Saying there's that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of a person are you to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
Right. So it said, what men are we to be in all holy conversation and godliness? Why? Jeremiah 10 and 10 from Yeremi Gabar. But Yahawah is the true God. He is the living God and the everlasting King. At his wrath, the earth shall tremble, and the nation shall not be able to abide his indignation. Woo! Isaiah 42 and 13. Yahawah shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. Why? Because he's jealous for his woman. A prime example is the movie Troy. Remember when what was her name? The Queen of Helen. Remember when she left with Hector's brother? So when he took that man's woman, when she willfully left, that waged a war between nations. So they say jealousy is the rage of a man. A man will go to war over his woman. Okay? He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, war. He shall prevail against his enemy. So YAHAWASHI is going to prevail against all you heathen nations, man. You will not be able to abide in his indignation. Okay?
Verse 12. The Second Peter 3 and 12. Looking forward to hastening into the coming of the day of Yahawah.
Looking for a hastening for the coming of the day of Yahawah. But Amos 5 said that, woe to you that desire the day of the Lord. Well, it's going to be because, remember, the Lord said that death, famine, pestilence, and scourges is all of that is for the wicked, though. So if you have faith and you believe, you may not worry about that. It's kind of like when you were younger, right? It's like you and your cousins, about 6, 7 of y'all, or somebody breaking vase. All y'all think y'all getting in trouble. It's the only ones who get in trouble, the ones who's acting up. That's how it is. If we know what's coming, I mean, shit, what can we do besides hold our ground? You know what I'm saying? Because when everything was fine and dandy, when everything was good, everybody was laughing. Everybody going on vacation. Everybody was parlaying and shit. Pestilence came about, shut everything down. When nobody laughing anymore, people losing their jobs, people going out. All right, man. People losing their jobs, people losing their place of vacancy, right? People were just dying flat. All of that, when the Lord started showing death and pestilence and famine, people started to act right. It's kind of like you got a little badass cousin. He always bothers you. You could be in the kitchen, he bothers you. You could be in the room playing the game, he bothers you. You could be in a car, he bothers you. So one day you pop his little ass, he start hollering. Because he ain't used to being disciplined. People in the world not used to being disciplined. The Lord gonna bring a lot of discipline. A lot of discipline. I think he was a scoffer. I remember him?
Yeah, he used to be.
Yeah, he used to be. I don't know if he was a scoffer, but
I don't think he was a scoffer.
I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, I don't think so. All right, I might be mistaken, but I do remember him.
2/3.
Okay. That's beautiful. 2/3 without a scoffer. All right, you got more?
Proverbs.
All right.
Because we're doing what the Lord said, so when all hell breaks loose, we all got one thing to rely on. Proverbs 18 and 10, the name of the Lord, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI is a strong tower.
Right.
The righteous running to it and is safe.
Right. And that's what we are right now. Right now, we are in the strong tower of YAHAWASHI. Why? Because we're the watchmen. What safer place can you be in other than the watchtower that YAHAWASHI has designated for you? Because that's your lot. That's our lot. We're watchmen. All right, we're shepherds to the flock. So the safest place we could possibly be is under the guise of YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI. Go ahead, brother.
I got Jeremiah 51 and 64.
Snap. 64.
Yeah.
Man, ain't
And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her.
Ooh. And the word evil just means ill time. Ooh.
And they shall be weary.
Oh, so like it said, it shall sink, right?
Yeah.
There's a medical term called circling down the drain. That's what's happening right now to America. It's literally sinking, going down the sink. I like that one though.
Read it again. It's Jeremiah 51 and 64. And thou shalt say, thou shalt Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her.
Right. Shall sink and shall not rise from the evil. Go ahead up.
And they shall be weary.
Woo.
This far on the words of Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna be weary. They're gonna be hype. Not hurt. They're gonna be hype.
Yeah,
the country. Oh man, he hurt his head. Yeah. We're gonna bring you back down to reality. That was it on that. Go ahead up. Second Peter. Second Peter. See, I want to get y'all please. Y'all be forgetting what I be asking. You should have 2 Bible apps on that thing already, huh?
Second Peter's 3 and what?
3 and 3 and 12, I guess.
12, you're right, 3 and 12. Mm-hmm. This Second Peter's 3 and 12. Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Yahawah.
So we're looking forward to these things. These things must happen. You know the term where it says you have to have war to make peace. Well, YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI is going to go to war with all the kings of the earth to bring peace to the earth. So Isaiah the 2nd chapter said that all nations are going to come up to the mount of Yahawah to learn the laws. And they gonna understand it's righteous, man. Even the poor man know that. Even the poor man will know that a rich man can't take his wife. Matter of fact, don't you remember when the prophet Nathan went and talked to David? He told David about a man. Yeah, he said, "Fuck that, he gonna sting anyway." Remember when he told David about the rich man that took the other man's cow or heifer? He was like, "You was that man." Ain't gonna be none of that in the kingdom. All right. For us on our side, it's gonna be all righteous. But the heathens, they're gonna have to learn our ways. Why? Because we're gonna be the ones ruling the world. Okay? You got more?
I got a side note. You know, there's this bumblebee been flying around this whole entire session. You know, bumblebee that has the ability to sting. It's been flying in Shaw's face, has been flying in Ibadiah's face, has been flying in our faces, you know. So it's just a little side note for edification's sake. Job 5 and 23, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, is the point, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with you. So it's just beautiful, you know. Y'all brothers sisters don't see it either. But it's just a little side note.
Yeah, man, that bee been right, man. That bee had been here for about 45 minutes, man. It just kept buzzing around. It hasn't stung anybody yet. Yep. Go ahead up. Second Peter 13.
Second Peter 3 and 13 now?
Yeah.
Second Peter 3 and 13. Nevertheless, we according to his promise look for new heavens and a new earth.
Right. So us according to his promise look for a new heaven and a new earth. That's why we out here preaching this word. That's why we want the prophecies to come to pass, because this is not our rest. This is not our rest. That's why we want it to be over. You want me to bar job, Revelation 18 and 2. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, that belongs to the elders, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city, America, be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. It's gonna be a den of devils.
Isaiah 65 and 17, for behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former things shall not be remembered.
Oh man, that's snapping. Right. In that kingdom, man, it could be nothing to offend,
nor come into mind.
Ooh, a matter of fact, I got one for that one.
You got it again, brother?
Yeah.
Isaiah 65 and 17, for behold, I create new heaven and a new earth. And the scripture says we have no continuing city here.
Right.
You know, we're under the curses. Never gonna work out, right? This is what the curse until Yahawah summons YAHAWASHI. You know, YAHAWASHI, the skies, get us out of here. It says Isaiah 65:17, for behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former things shall not be remembered, nor come into mind.
So we're gonna forget all about this place, man. That's when we get new bodies, new spirits, and forget all about this place, man. All right. I got a quick precept to go with that. This is Matthew chapter 13. Ooh, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Verse 49. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just. That's why I talk about a new heaven and new earth, man. Right? They shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Right. Going back up, Matthew 13 and 39. The enemy that sold them, matter of fact, I'm sorry, 40. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. That goes with that one when it says the former things shall not be anymore. He's going to take away all things that offend and that do iniquity in the kingdom. Right? So we're going to close out with, you have anything in particular? No, that's it. All right, we're going to close out with Galatians 5 and 5. You got something?
I'm going to follow Galatians 5 and 5.
This is Galatians 5 and 5. Before we through the spirit, wait for the hope of righteousness by faith.
Right, so we through the spirit, the word, wait for the hope. We are hoping to be turned righteous by the faith that we possess. So the faith that we possess gives us hope that we shall be turned into a righteous being, a pure being, rather than have to die and come through the womb of a woman, because it will be an Israelite man's seed, of course. Understand? This is Sirach 21 and 9. The congregation of the wicked is like tow wrapped together. That goes right back to the heap. And the end of them is as a flame of fire to destroy them. Come on, you can't make that up. Come on, Putin. Oh, that's treason right there. That's treason. Sirach 21 and 10. The way of sinners is made plain with stones, but at the end thereof is the pit of hell. Exactly, y'all. And the Lord's going to turn his face into hell, like he said in Psalms, right? So with that being said, we're going to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahawah, YAHAWASHI, Shimmy Kakadash, double honor to our elders, a great millstone who do well. Sing on to the elect. Peace and blessings to the 1/3, and confusion facing the 4 corners of the earth. Shalom.